Hello, welcome back to the Big Red F. So this is a little different. I haven't done like a face-to-face kind of vloggy kind of one here in a while. But I am back down here in Texas. The house, we've signed a contract. They did their inspection based upon some of the things in the inspection, including some hail damage, minor hail damage to the roof. I made some concessions. We agreed upon a final price. So I hopped a plane and headed down here, and I've been selling off all of the furniture as that was never going to come with the house. I had hoped the buyer would want the furniture, as a starter home kind of a thing. But this buyer's an investor, and that's fine. We did have some non-investors look at the property, but in the end, this is the first one that actually made an offer versus just say that they were going to make an offer. So bird in the hand. I'm finding selling stuff on Facebook Marketplace to be interesting. I'll try to put together a separate video about that on some of the foibles or some of the highlights of my, as I've been saying, Facebook Marketplace hell. Which really the only truly annoying part has been when you put something up, you get a whole bunch of "is this available?" and I immediately or almost immediately answer back, "Yes, it is," and then hear nothing. So I don't get it. And I know that I've seen people complain about that on Twitter and all that, but I will say the marketplace is a little bit easier to deal with than Craigslist. But I'm about to probably put some of this stuff up on Craigslist, particularly when it comes to, I've been discounting it, but at some point here in the near future, I will be putting it up for free. Hopefully people buy it before I do that. But in the end, I just don't want to have to pay to get it removed. So make what money I can, put it up for free so it doesn't cost me money to get rid of it is really the goal. We've been going back and forth on the original plan was by the time it sold, maybe we would just drive the truck down and rent a trailer and take the things that we want to take back, one of which is a wooden hutch that goes to my wife's dresser that we inadvertently left here when we moved the dresser. I think we moved the dresser to Ohio while we lived in Ohio briefly. Yeah, so there's a couple of items here or there that won't fit in my car. I have been leaving a car here in Texas because I come back in town to either work on the house or for business meetings and so forth. So it would be cost ineffective to rent a car, so I just leave my car in the garage. But now my car's not going to have a garage to live in, so it's got to go with me. But back to the original plan with the U-Haul. The plan had then been to, okay, well, we'll put it all in, whatever we're not going to fit in my car will go into storage. But then when looking at the cost of the storage, which really isn't that much in terms of the actual storage, because it's not a ton of stuff, but putting it into storage, but then factoring the gas of driving our truck down, the cost of the trailer itself, the cost for hotels, the cost for food, and even though we all would all enjoy a nice sort of family vacation to Texas, it's a 2-day trip down and a 2-day trip back, and so we'd want to spend. It would take us maybe about a day to load, get the trailer, load the trailer, etc. But we'd want to have like a fun day, like one fun day while we're here. So that probably means 2 days in Austin. So now we're at 6 days, possibly 7 days. So it's like a whole week of being out of pocket to come down and get like a 5x5 or a 5x8 worth of storage stuff. So I started looking at van lines, all the various moving companies, which, warning, if you've never contacted a moving company, as soon as you give them anything to contact you with, and you are hoping just for an email quote, like I hit submit and within seconds my phone rang. And then they keep up on it. They put you in a queue and they just keep calling you until that happens. So there's been a couple of moving companies that are, you load the truck, we drive the truck, you unload the truck. Okay. Those have come in somewhere in like the $1,800-$1,900 range. All of the ones that are, we come, we load, we drive, we unload, those are all, they vary here and there, but those have all been basically $2,700 to go from Cedar Park, Texas to Bel Air, Michigan. Apparently, once you get north of Lansing, all trucking routes counted as rural, even though state highway. We live in town; it's all paved. But anyway, so I get it. We're out of the normal city centers, and in doing so, I guess that's like when the costs jack way up, because seeing the internet advertisements for a one of these companies that is a load move unload, advertise like $1,800 to go from like New York to San Francisco or something, like okay, that's a greater distance. Why am I getting quoted 2,700 or 2,900, and that's after a discount. I've had almost everybody I talked to as a live body went to their manager, insert various manager name here, went to their manager and managed to get a few $100s off here or there. Whatever. So I put them all in the spreadsheet, and then was looking at the idea of I load the truck, unload the truck, but they drive the truck, and then looked at a U-Haul pod. And a U-Haul pod is at least $100, $150 less than the other ones. Flip side is we'd have to go to Traverse City to get it because they won't deliver the pod to Bel Air. So that would kind of suck. Traverse City is about an hour away, which if the weather's nice, that's fine. But if the weather's not nice, yeah. So the things that would be in the pod should fit in our Traverse. Hopefully we'd make them all in one trip. But if need be, I guess we could do 2 trips and not have to deal with a trailer rental of any kind, because the utility trailer would not be good for this time of year given the weather. Anyway, so now the tentative plan is the original plan was this weekend, which part of the reason I'm making this video is it's going to be the winter apocalypse here in Texas for 2026. But the original plan was I was going to rent the storage facility and just start loading what I need to load that won't fit in my car this weekend. However, given that we're not going to do that anymore, since the other option's cheaper financially as well as logistically, we don't have to burn a week to come down, grab some stuff, and then drive all the way back, which is basically a quick turnaround. The now tentative plan is to go through everything, determine what we really want to keep, what we don't want to keep, and then really make a decision on, is it worth $1,700 to do the U-Haul pod thing, or what I can fit in my car is all we really want to keep. So we'll go through that exercise this weekend. Me actually here, and I'll FaceTime my wife. So that's sort of a general update on the house. It is contract is signed. The closing is set for February 10th. If I can have everything out of the house faster, the buyer is interested in closing faster, and that's great. They have asked a couple of times if I'm able to close faster, and my general response has been, well, I'm working on emptying out the house, along with the fact that I do have a day job. I'm recording this before I fully clock in. I worked late last night and I've already answered a few emails this morning. But point being is, I have other things I have to do while I'm here, in addition to the fact that I'm attempting to recoup as much money out of the furniture that we have here as possible. It's not terrible furniture. It's not super high-end furniture, but in the spreadsheet that I made of all the major items, it's worth about $3,000. I expect to get within maybe 25% of that if I can sell everything. Like I said, some of the stuff, I might have to just mark down to free here as we get closer to the closing date, because I need to have it gone. The grill and the smoker, I might be able to get some money for the smoker. The grill, it's really old. It is a great grill. It does need some new inside parts. The grill itself, it's stainless steel, so the shell is fine and fantastic. The inside burners and whatnot, I've replaced them I think 4 times now, because it was a wedding present, and we were married for 20 years this past July, and so we would have gotten it after we got back from the wedding. So we got it in the fall or winter of 2005. Anyway, that one I expect to just put up for free. The hardest one about that is actually going to be moving it from the patio area that we have all the way around the house to get it up front, because it's big enough and heavy enough. I don't want to move it through the house, yeah, I don't want to move it through the house just because I don't want to damage the house at all. So I might just be like, it's free, but you got to move it. You got to pick it up and move it around the house. But the smoker, I feel like I probably get a couple bucks for. It's perfectly fine. It's good. It's in good shape. But either way, I know scrappers will take those just for the scrap metal. But winter apocalypse. Ted Cruz has left the state, if you haven't heard, which means probably some Texans are going to die. And I'm not trying to be glib about it, but with the pending winter storm, whether it is due to car accidents or due to the fact that it's very likely we'll lose power. Now, most of the power lines here in Texas that go to houses are underground, which is great because it's less likely for a tree limb to be able to, snap under ice load and cause a problem like it happens up north, like it did last winter with Gaylord, Michigan, where that entire region was just decimated by an ice storm. For here, right now, it's been drizzling, but it's in the 50s. This evening, it's supposed to continue to be in the 50s, but tomorrow it's supposed to continue to rain, and it's supposed to drop into freezing temperatures during the day. And then at night, it's going to be freezing. Sunday, it's going to be freezing. And now Monday, they're saying it's going to be freezing. But late on Sunday and Monday, they are predicting that the rain will stop. So my real concern in general for the house is with the larger mature trees in the neighbor's yard and in our yard, is the ice causing a problem and snapping more limbs. The trees have already survived all the other ice storms, so hopefully all of the limbs that are going to fall have fallen, as I really don't want to have to file a claim with the insurance company on the eve of closing the house. The original closing date that they had suggested was the 27th, so regardless, this ice storm would have happened, even if I could have gotten down here and gotten everything out. But, it's one of those, would be nice if it was the other owner's problem versus being my problem. So the next concern is just the freeze in general. Here's the issue with Texas. The construction is built for extreme heat to a degree, not extreme cold. So while they insulate, they don't insulate the same way, as well as when it comes to, up north, you hear, oh, well, you got to bury it below the freeze line. Well, down here, it never freezes, except when it does. And therefore, they don't really have the concept of a freeze line as part of their construction for things like gas lines and water lines. And that means that ultimately, the water coming from the road, from the city, could freeze. But it means that piping there, and then the piping that leads into the house, that is all potential possible freeze issue now. It survived. All of that plumbing survived the original freeze of 2021, but the one a few years back where basically Mother Nature tried to kill Texas. A couple of years later, I did have an outside hose bib snap off, and just because it was really old PVC, it wasn't well insulated, had been exposed to the sun for years, and it had survived those freezes. That's all been replaced. I'm hoping it'll be fine. But with that, what do Texans do? You drip your faucets. You drip your inside faucets and you drip your outside faucets. So that the idea is that the basically constant flow of water, even at a drip, will keep the water in the lines moving and thus keep it from freezing, which is fairly accurately true. It should help to keep bringing warmer water from the city side through the lines that run from the city into the house and so forth. As far as did I have any pipe issues during the last freeze, the only issue that was that the master bathroom shower that froze up, and as it wasn't getting dripped at the time, but all the rest of the faucets and everything were fine, and we didn't have any internal breaks there. So this time around, especially since all of that plumbing's been replaced with PEX as far as where it comes out of the slab, and then that's been insulated, and then not only the pipes themselves, but then the actual insulation in the wall had been replaced. Hopefully it'll fare better, but that's one where I'm going to drip it, and we're going to hope that everything is copacetic, because I really don't want to deal with another plumbing issue and another claim on my insurance due to basically pipe burst that happens because of because of the weather. In part because, having been through this before, the actual repair to the said pipe, the actual plumbing portion of that, and or diagnostic work that goes into finding out where exactly it broke, insurance doesn't cover that. Insurance only covers the remediation after basically putting the wall back together, or possibly if it was like the master bathroom shower again, if they have to like go through the tile, they have to open up the tile wall to get at it. I would get reimbursed for that repair, but not the actual plumbing repair itself. And so again, on the cusp of selling the house, I don't want any of that. So I will be dripping the faucets. I'll probably do that tonight before I go to bed. But I'll check the weather forecast again. But just to be on the safe side, I'll probably do that. As far as preparations, last time around, power was lost here for maybe 36 hours. It would suck to be completely without electricity and likely internet, other than possibly my mobile internet, but that likely would have issues and overload in the area as well. But that would suck for 36 hours of basically living like it's the 1900s, early 1900s. We'll just say late 1800s. But there's a wood fireplace, so I bought a couple of bundles of campfire wood. You say, oh, well, that's not going to last you very long. I'm not necessarily trying to, it would really be for probably at night or something, that kind of thing. The house holds heat fairly well. So I'm hoping that if we do lose heat and whatnot, the idea of being completely frozen inside the house won't happen. But if need be, I'll start a fire. And then as far as cooking and whatnot, the range is the oven is gas. It's an electric start though, so I have no idea where I'm supposed to start the actual oven portion. But I could very easily start the burners, the range burners with the matches or whatnot. But I bought an extra propane tank for my gas grill because if for whatever reason I can't use the gas in the house, then I would be able to at least be able to use the side burner or grill stuff on the gas grill itself, or I could use my smoker. It's a gas smoker. And I also bought 5 gallons of drinkable water. I'm going to fill some bins because I've got a bunch of food grade bins. I'll fill some bins for utility water. I might fill the guest bathroom tub for utility water as well, just to be able to have non-drinkable water. And I've got plenty of protein bars and protein powder. I probably use a little more peanut butter, but in general, I've got enough stable foodstuffs that I'm not worried about food. And I've got a bunch of stuff in the freezer that, should that become a thing, I was planning to defrost the meat in the freezer and eat it anyway, so that just plays out. But yeah, so preparing for the winter apocalypse. That's going to happen this weekend. I'll do some other video updates as I go to document the whole ice storm 2026 here. And then on this video, I'll throw in some stills of, like for instance, the TV in the living room's gone, the before and after, the big giant picture that's over the fireplace, the before and after. I'll put some before and after shots in terms of things I've sold here in my office. Over in that area, I had a TV. Didn't use it all that often, but it was nice to have one out here. That one hasn't sold yet. The monitors, I actually have the boxes for those in the garage, so at the moment those are intended to come with me, either in the U-Haul box or in the car. But on the same note, we have monitors up north, but these, I think I got these maybe in 2022, 2023, but the desk and the chair, if we have space in a U-Haul pod and they don't sell, I'll bring them just because they're decent, they're in good shape, there's no reason to not have them, and the desk breaks down to be easy for storage. But otherwise, yeah, I don't need. I've got desks up north. I've got chairs up north. But yeah, the house is sold, closing on it soon, in the process of emptying it out. All the while, during that process, I now get to deal with Ice Storm 2026. Wish me luck.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.